Welcome back to the Midlife by Design podcast. I'm your host, Lisai, and I am a human design teacher and alignment coach, here to help midlife women use human design to shed others' expectations and be who you came here to be. We're in for a doozy this week, folks. In today's short episode, I'm giving you the energetic lowdown on Election Day in the US and how you can take care of yourself this week. Things are going to get heated and we're in for a wild ride, so tune in for some self-care tips to help get you through. Welcome back to Midlife by Design. This week is a bit of a crazy week, especially here in the United States, and I wanted to take this episode and help support you during this election season, and specifically as Election Day is on November 5th. So the sun is transiting gate 44 in human design on Election Day. And I wanted to talk a little bit about gate 44, what's happening in the astrology, and then also give you some practical tips for self-care, both on Election Day and on the days and weeks that follow. So let's dive in. The sun is transiting gate 44. It's in it right now. When the sun transits a gate, it transits for 6 days, and it will be in line 6, which means that it will be at the end of its time in gate 44. And gate 44 is in the spleen center, which is all about safety and survival. It's the one center that we share as humans with the animal kingdom. So it's that energy of the gazelle who's running before she even really knows that the lion is on her tail. It's that primal kind of survival energy. And gate 44 remembers what is needed to survive, and it honors our ancestors and their journey and all that they have experienced and all of the hardships that they have gone through in order for us to be here in this moment. So I want us to remember that that is the energy in the ether on November 5th. The moon is in Capricorn on Tuesday, November 5th. Which I think is going to really help us overall, because Capricorn is all about discipline, groundedness, it's practical, it's focused. So I believe that that's going to help us take this energy of the influence that we have from our ancestors and ground us in what needs to be done. It's going to help to make it easier to filter out all of the noise and just maintain some degree of balance. So Capricorn is also where Pluto has been hanging out for the past 16 years. And during that transit has really shown us some of the darker sides of power, of authority, of capitalism in general. And it's been doing this flirt. It's retrograde right now back into Capricorn at what's called the anaretic degree, which is the very last degree. And whenever a planet moves into a sign or is moving out of a sign at those degrees, right as it comes in and out, are heightened. It's like these are the chances for us to really learn this lesson, to really understand what is being asked of us in this time. So Pluto is going to move out of Capricorn and into Aquarius November 19th. So it really is in its final days, and it'll be the last time that we see Pluto in Capricorn because it's such a slow-moving planet. So I want to talk about how these transits specifically affect us as women in midlife. You know, we have lived enough of our years to be able to appreciate our ancestors and what they have done for us and the sacrifices that they had to make in order for us to be in this place, in this time, here, right now. So let's talk about some practical self-care tips for election day. First of all, grounding practices, again, building on the energy that Capricorn is giving us with the moon being there. Simple grounding exercises like going for a walk outside. If it's warm enough where you live, taking your shoes and socks off and just putting them on the ground barefoot is just a really lovely way to literally ground. Practicing deep breathing is also a very simple thing that you can do. Pulling in your breath for 4 counts, holding for 4, exhaling for 4, holding for 4. That's called a box breath. You can employ that. But these kinds of things will help you to reconnect with your body and bring those anxiety levels, if that's what you're experiencing, down. Okay? I would also recommend that you, as soon as you wake up and you're in that theta state, set some intentions for the day, which will be super supportive for you as you make your way through a potentially stressful day. And if there's one thing that can add stress, it is definitely going to be media consumption on this day. And I want to just encourage you to limit your media intake to specific times. That way you are avoiding overwhelm, and it can be a helpful way to keep you grounded and not going off the rails about what may or may not be happening. Remember that the media will be sharing the story in their own human biased way, and the control that you have is to choose what influences you allow into your mental space. Another thing you might think about is journaling and some reflection. So I'm just going to give you a couple of ideas here for things to journal about. So being that the gate 44 is being transited by the sun that day, it's a great time to reflect on what values you hold that can honor your ancestors without carrying forward their trauma. Deep question, a chance for you to really ponder this, and you're being supported in doing so with gate 44 in line 6. How can you honor your ancestors by taking action that creates the world that they once dreamed about? This is another beautiful thing to consider on this day and also take action on. So coming back to the idea that the moon is in Capricorn and that resilient energy and Capricorn's discipline and responsible qualities. Capricorn is really comfortable with routines. And so having some kind of daily habit that you practice on this day would be really supportive for you. Think about, is a workout a regular part of your routine? That would be a good thing to make sure you get in on this day. It's not a day to skip that. Thinking about how to set yourself up with healthy, nutritious food on this day so you're not grabbing snacks or quick salt or sugar to appease any emotional turmoil that may be happening. Remember that Capricorn emphasizes pragmatism. So you really want to focus on what you can control. And those are things like your personal boundaries. Again, that idea of what media are you going to let in? Hydration, keeping yourself, watered and fed, and giving yourself the attention that your emotions truly need on this day. So a couple of human design type specific self-care tips: generators and manifesting generators. A couple of things for both of your types. Do something that lights up your sacral on this day. Whatever that may be open to response that's going to truly give you that lit up feeling and that energy. And I would also suggest, especially if you have a defined route, to just move. Some kind of physical movement will be a really beautiful way to release any pent up energy or stress. Projectors I encourage you to set boundaries around that media consumption, prioritize rest, and be open to invitations to share your wisdom on this day. Manifestors, I want you to take bold action on this day. If there's ever a day to be bold, it's today. So if you haven't voted and you're feeling like you should be voting for a certain candidate because of other people's expectations, but it's not necessarily aligned with your expectations, this is an invitation for you to shed those expectations, take bold action in service of your needs. Make sure you're educating yourself on the issues that are really important to you and taking action on the world that you want to create, because you are here to initiate us. And then reflectors, keeping in mind how highly sensitive you are to other people's energy and your environment. Find some place that will reflect calm for you and feel restorative for you. So the truth of the matter is that election days can be really stressful, and they don't necessarily have to take you totally off the rails. I've provided some ideas in this episode for you to support yourself from a human design perspective, keeping in mind where the sun is transiting, gate 44, keeping in mind where the moon is transiting in Capricorn, keeping in mind what's happening with Pluto. So all of this information can just serve to educate you and support you so that you can stay grounded during stressful events. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Midlife by Design. I've dropped the journal prompts in the show notes for easy reference. You can check those out if you plan to do some journaling during this election day season. And I hope this week helps us move forward as a nation, and I encourage you to make every effort to get to the polls if you haven't already. We really need strong women taking the lead. If you're curious about how human design can help you redefine yourself in midlife, I'd love to invite you to a free call with me. Let's hop on Zoom and explore your unique design and what might be keeping you stuck. Human design can be a game changer, and it might be just the one that you need to help you truly define yourself in midlife. And as we close, I'm sending you the strength to release what no longer serves you, joy to fill your days, and clarity to fully step into who you came here to be.